It's Christine, the art lady from Bay Ridge and Aiello. That was just me expressing some of the stress and anxiety that I am feeling right now. Those are pretty common feelings. You're probably experiencing them as well. I've been asked to make these videos. This is the first one as part of a Heart Share series, to encourage you to continue making artwork at home. Even though we don't have our weekly art workshops now, you can still create artwork at home. And you can use that art as a place to channel your feelings of stress and anxiety. But I hope that you also use your artwork as a place to channel your feelings of positivity. Because right now we need to have hope, we need to have faith, we need to have optimism, and we need to continue to be creative and flexible and resourceful. Rather than focus on what we don't have right now, let's focus on what we do have. At your residence, you might not have the art materials that are normally available to you at the day hab. Don't worry about that. I want you to look around the residence and consider what you do have. I've been making different art lessons that the staff should be receiving, and these lessons are not material specific. These lessons are open-ended. They're more about themes, ideas, feelings, because I know you might be working with all kinds of things and you don't necessarily, again, have the materials that are available to you at the day hab. Again, be positive. Let's stay positive. Let's think about the day when we are reunited, when we do have our art workshops in person again. Let's think about one day returning to any number of the amazing art museums we have in New York City for our field trips. And let's also think about going out into the community again, one day, not now, but one day in the future. We will get to have our photo walks again. We'll get to have our art shows in the community again. We just have to stay positive and think about all the beautiful things that life has to offer and about all of the wonderful things that are to come. So again, in these lesson plans, I'm not being material specific. I'm thinking about ideas and themes that you all can explore in your artwork at home. I'm going to show you some of the paintings that are in those lesson plans. You don't have to make paintings. You can make drawings, sculptures, collages. You can make artwork on the computer. You can do photography. You can do installations. Any number of things. It's up to you. I am just making paintings on my own because I'm using what's available to me. And at home, I have a lot of watercolors. I have lots of little brushes. I have a lot of watercolor paper. And I have my kitchen table as my workspace. I also have some pencils and pens and salt, which is a material you can use on watercolors. Anyway, so one of the paintings is of this coral reef. Abstraction. I've asked you all to think about what coral reefs look like, to look at pictures in books and on the internet, and to make your own coral reef. So I've just used watercolor. I did not do any drawing first. I just went straight to using the paint. No pencil, no pen. And I really explored some of the different possibilities in watercolor. You can see different kinds of strokes, different kinds of dots, and different color mixing. I also sent a lesson plan for making your own environmental poster. And in my plan, the photo shows a piece of graphic design. So I made the painting, I scanned it, I brought it up on the computer and pulled the painting into Adobe Photoshop and made the words from there. I typed in my message on Photoshop. You don't have to do that. It's just how I chose to approach that specific activity. But here's the painting that is part of that poster. You can see there's watercolor and there's also ink, just black pen. Another lesson plan was on animal mothers. That's where I asked you to choose different animals and portray whatever animal you choose, portray its mother. So I chose the sandhill crane. Again, I used watercolor, I used pencil, and I went symbolically here. I put the nest above the crane's head, which is not realistic, but I chose to use my imagination. So you can think about what that might mean and interpret that how you wish. Another lesson plan was for a portrait that uses Cubist and natural elements. So you can see here the hands are Cubist looking, and then I have a ton of different natural elements. I have a fish, an owl, different kinds of plants, the moon, and of course the portrait, the human that is portrayed in this painting. And this uses watercolor and ink as well, black pen. You can see some of the pencils because I did draw everything first and then I filled it in, which you don't have to do and I don't always do. Here's a painting that's not in any of the lesson plans, at least not yet, but it's just something that I made at home at my kitchen table. And it is a watercolor like the others, but there's something different. It's collaged. So what I did was I took a photo print of one of my other paintings. Some of you saw the large real-life painting of a sloth at Bay Ridge. I took a photo of it and then I printed the photo, but I didn't like the way this particular print came out. You can see the color stripe from where the ink and the printer started to run out. But instead of throwing away the print, I decided to keep it so that I could cut it up for collage purposes. So I wrote the word valiant, which means brave or courageous, and I cut out the different letters and glued them onto this other painting. There's also part of the foliage, the leaves that I cut out from the other painting and put here. And I made it thinking of our staff and how brave they are to be working in the residences right now and helping all of you live safe and healthy lives. I'm going to close out with a music video. This is a music video that I made with Jerome Davis. Jerome is a staff member at Bay Ridge. I'm sure everyone at Bay Ridge knows who I'm talking about. He's the group leader for 404. And it actually wasn't until this pandemic that I found out that Jerome made music. And he and I decided to collaborate. We haven't been able to get together in person, of course, because of the quarantine, but he emailed me some of his music files, and I have been making visuals for them in video form. So maybe that's something some of you will decide to try during this time, is really figure out what software you have on your computer and start making videos, different photo projects, graphic design projects, what have you. Anyway, this music video is called Blue. Until next time, bye.
We did 2 whole cards. It was me, Dez, and me 3, right? And on the first card, in small letters, it said, "All you see is," and then, big, black silver letters, it said, "Crime in the city," right?
It just took up the whole card?
It was a whole card.
For me and other graffiti writers that we can read it. All these other people who don't write, they're excluded. I don't care about them. They don't matter to me. For us.